Good evening. This is Penelope Flynn and the remainder of your Blerdsassins Next Door. Got Cranston, Sonia, Otto, and Nikki, and we are here on this lovely August 3rd, 2024, the first weekend in August that we're here. So I guess the thing we do best is talk about the weather. And Cranston, how is your weather?
All week it has been in the mid 90s, and there have been scattered thunderstorms. So, you're talking to somebody on the phone and you hear all the lightning and thunder in where they are, and there's nothing where you are. And it's been like that all week. So,
Okay. And Sonia, how is the weather up in your neck of the woods in New York?
Hey, we flirted with the 90s, just barely missing it, but it's got the Florida mugginess and the same kind of weather that Cranston, the rumors of thunderstorms.
mhm.
It did flash flood about half an hour from here ish, and then
Wow.
nothing up here, and then it would come up here and then dissipate as soon as it got up here.
Wow. So no rain.
Sprinklings.
Sprinklings. Okay. And you, Nikki, how is sunny South Florida? Sunny?
It's not sunny now. I think we're getting ready to have a tropical storm.
Ooh. Well, I mean, batten down the hatches.
Huh?
Batten down the hatches?
Not really.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well, I
the
crazy
crazy
get some
thing is
Florida.
they're only up to D now, and usually this deep in the system, we would have been like, out of J or something like that. So it's kind of strange.
Well, I hear a sound that sounds like somebody chewing on ice cubes. Is it just me?
Huh?
Okay, I don't hear it anymore. It's not. Oh, it's there. Okay, I can still hear it. Like so chewing on ice cube. Nobody else hears that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
hmm
do.
Huh. Okay, there we go. Right. So you got to be still. I know you want to rock. You're rocking. We
I
can
was
hear it.
mute. I was muted.
Yep, you are muted, and I can still hear it.
It could be them sneaking up on us.
Okay.
That's what it sounds like.
I think that is Nikki's fan.
I'll stay in that room then.
Okay,
Okay,
there we go.
I'm good.
Right.
Okay,
See, I can hear it now.
I'm gonna leave you show now.
Huh?
It's on mute though. Oh
Okay.
no.
Okay, now you're muted. Okay, there we go. All right. So I hope everybody was able to see the show agenda. And it was something that Cranston had suggested, but also I thought was kind of timely when I hear all these, various and sundry reviews regarding the most recent Wolverine and, Deadpool. And of course, the question is, whether or not the Academy kind of has a bias, against the superhero film genre, and whether that is well earned. So I know that we posted where Variety had done a list of those particular shows. So we want to know: did you all see the list? Did you review it? And do
hmm
you think it is true that some of these particular um, films that think that they are wonderful are actually kind of bad?
Did you get the weather from Sonia?
I did. I did
Did
on
you?
Sonia's weather. Yeah, I remember
What she said?
she was saying that there was definitely weather and thunderstorms. They got to them and they petered out and didn't end up being
Oh,
much of
okay.
anything.
I missed it.
Yeah. So I don't know if you all were able to see the information that was posted along with the um the um the show, but there is. Do y'all get that the
hmm
listing So I think since this is your baby, Bubba, why don't you
Baby bubble.
go ahead, Cranston, and start with your listing and tell us which films you think deserved their Oscar nods and which ones didn't, or whether you think that this type of film genre deserves, Oscar consideration at all.
Yeah, well, I think that there are two things to ask yourself: is it a good film, and does it deserve inclusion or exclusion? And in the history of the Academy, there are certain genres that generally don't do well. If you look at things in general, westerns don't do well, comedies don't do well. Um, anything that is special effects laden doesn't do well, except in whatever that category is or whatever. And there is a kind of a bias, and every time you look back at some of the things that happen, it's an academy-wide bias for the genres they don't particularly care for, and then they're just individual things. I remember once when they were both occupied, both nominated for the same year, Do the Right Thing and Driving Miss Daisy, which are not exactly, compatible. And Jessica Tandy, who said, and she was nominated for two, I think, for Best Actor, which I think she did
Mm-hmm.
one. And she said that no, she didn't watch the movie. Now, the Academy says that they encourage all of the members to watch as many of the nominated films as they can, because how can you vote for something that you didn't see when you might say 2 years later, that was really a lot better than the one I voted for. And,
Mm-hmm.
They don't do that. So they're not exactly being,
Unbiased.
being informed voters when they do it. And the voting system works is that the nominations themselves come from each individual guild. The costume designers nominate the costume designers, the cinematographers nominate them, and so forth. And the actors nominate the actors. So it's not like everybody gets to choose who gets nominated. It's who is nominated by your guild. Now, once the number of nominees they have, whether it's like 10 for Best Picture or 5 for this, and I think the smallest number I saw was 3 nominees one year
Mm-hmm.
for makeup, and they're the ones that put the nominees out, and then after that, everybody can vote for whoever they nominated. And the
Mm-hmm.
way it works is you're supposed to rank your nominees from 1 to however many in the category, and whoever has the least number of votes gets eliminated. And then whoever you voted for that got eliminated, their votes get rolled over into the next person on your list. And that keeps going until somebody gets at least 50% of all the votes cast in that category. And that's where the winner comes up. Now, you can't say whether or not that is a fair way to do it. There have been all sorts of things about saying that because most of the Academy still continues to be white and male and older,
Mm-hmm.
that they needed to get new people in, so they tried to do that to make it a little more diverse in the voting and stuff. But for some things it doesn't change. And one thing I noticed on that list, if you looked at the ones that did win in those particular years, you begin to say they did, people voted for that. Two of the
Mm-hmm.
biggest surprises, well, there were three big surprises. Like, one was that everybody thought Crash should not have won Best Picture. It should have been Brokeback Mountain. I'm one of the few people, I think that Brokeback Mountain was good, but I don't think it was that good. It had just as many improbabilities and other things that Crash did, except that I think the Brokeback Mountain is the kind of thing that the Academy would like to say, well, this is who we really are, and this really not. Another one was when for Best Picture, when Saving Private Ryan lost out to Shakespeare in Love. And I had to say, well, Shakespeare in Love was enjoyable, blah, 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 and stuff. But I don't think Shakespeare in Love was Best Picture. And then Judi Dench won for Best Supporting Actor when she was only on screen for like 8 minutes out of a
Uh,
2 hour movie. So you
yeah.
have
Well, I
things
mean,
like,
think about it. The fact that there's a nomination in Glenn Ross for Alec Baldwin, and he
mhm,
wasn't on it for 5 minutes.
But that
yeah.
5 minutes is pretty good though.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I guess if you squint at it long enough, that's why it's supporting performance because you're not
Hmm.
there for that long. But the thing
Right.
is, can
Right.
you really make that much of an impression in 5 minutes of screen
Yeah, I
time
think that Alec
to
Baldwin. I mean, if you take him out of the movie, Glenn Ross, it's a different movie and a less energized movie, especially at the beginning.
mhm,
Right.
Yeah, and also I think because it's in there, it shows the stress that these salesmen are under.
mhm,
People telling you that this is a hard job, but if you don't succeed in it, there's something wrong with you.
Gives
mhm,
him
So
stick.
yes, they're really just very, very hard life. I mean, a lot of grooming goes into getting these people involved in sales. It is something else. But I think, yeah, the academy has their rules, etc. But when I think of, in particular, we make these films. These are superhero films. Obviously, people like them. Members of the cast and crew are hired in order to do them. So why is it that they are not seen by the academy as good film? And
I don't think people take him seriously.
well, I think one reason they don't is because they're still looked at as not serious film because you're talking about people who can fly and shrink and all this kinds of stuff, and so they can't relate to it because well this can't happen and stuff, So that's not it. Also, they say it's not serious because if you're just saving the world again, that's not going to be looked as serious as a talk domestic drama about the dissolution of a marriage or something like that. And
mhm.
so they're going to say, well, they're talking about somebody who can fly and somebody who's going through an existential crisis, even though saving the world can be an existential crisis. So that's another reason they're not looked at as being serious. So they're just sort of um, don't want to say ghettoized, but they're just not looked at as being something serious or something that people can relate to, even though there are some things that people can quote unquote relate to, like the year that Malcolm X did not win Best Picture, but
Right.
Out of Africa did. Now, how well you can relate to I guess a sort of a dilettante socialite living in the jungle and stuff back in the 50s, whenever it took place, as opposed to um, what's going on in more recent history and stuff is a matter of opinion or whatever like that. But a lot of
Mhm.
the things that go into these decisions are really personal. Sometimes they're vengeful. If you didn't get this part and the other, and you have to vote for the person who did, you might be disinclined to do so. Or if this director did something to a friend of yours and you still hold that
Yeah.
against them, you don't get that either. And that's all the other things that go into it. But generally, they're just looked at as something not to be taken seriously,
Mhm.
no matter how
I mean,
well
for,
it's done.
for instance, I guess one of the things that we look at, we've always had the comment about how Black Panther was not nominated for Best Picture.
Wasn't even nominated at all.
Yeah, I mean, they got nominated for best score, for design, for costume
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 design.
costume.
design, makeup.
Yeah, yeah, but I think the reality is that it should have been nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
They,
Well,
how,
the thing is, the question is, what are the rules? What are the things that people look at? I mean, seriously, look at in order to determine whether a picture should be nominated, right? I think Black Panther to me, fits the role because it's it's kind of a diverse, right, picture.
Uh-huh.
So it shows Hollywood in the way that it wants to be seen. It was popular,
Mm-hmm.
but once again, it's it's people putting on costumes, and if you have actors who believe that method acting is the key to all acting, right? They're not going
Mm-hmm.
to they're not going to take that serious. It's like Christopher Reeves wanted to be nominated for Best Actor for his role in Superman 2, which is a perfectly fine movie. But when he said that, I mean, he was basically laughed at. I mean, I remember so many people, so many actors laughing at him. He was saying, I got to play two roles. I'm Clark Kent and then I'm Superman. And people were like, are you serious?
I
Yeah,
don't
well,
know.
They look at it as a comic book film, not necessarily
yeah,
a superhero film. And comic
and
books are for kids, and they don't want to be remembered in history for having a comic book film win. They want to be remembered for the grand epic or the deeply personal film. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
and the other thing that goes along with it is the fact that billing makes a difference. And he was Superman, but Superman didn't come in the credits until after Gene Hackman and Marlon Brando, who was only I think in there for 15 minutes or something like that.
If
And
that long.
so
I mean, Hackman was in there for a long time, but the problem with Hackman is, I mean, and Brando, these are Academy Award winning actors.
yeah,
They've been taken seriously in other projects that they've done, but you can see from their acting in the movie, they're not taking Superman 2 and Superman. They're not taking it seriously. So if these two guys are giving the high sign
Mm-hmm.
that this is not a serious project, how can you really fault anyone for not taking it seriously? I mean,
and also
Brando's
you're not
Godfather, and yeah,
Ned Beatty you have for
yeah,
Deliverance.
and then Betty in Deliverance, and they're not taking it serious. They're not taking the project seriously.
Well, also, you're not going to also go that down in the casting to get somebody as best actor if you come up like sixth in the credits or something like that.
But I think, well, in Superman 2, was he that far down? I know the
Oh,
first one,
Christopher
yes.
Reeves, though he was. I think he was after Brando. He may have been
In
up
Superman 2?
after Hackman, maybe after Hackman and Brando.
no, Superman 2, I think he was first or second.
Yeah, he
He may
got
have been
first
up
and
there,
second then,
Yeah,
but
in
the
Superman
pattern
2.
has already been set. So,
but the film wasn't nominated. I mean, because Hackman and Brando and Ned Beatty, they didn't take that film seriously. It was all. The only reason everyone in Hollywood knew that the only reason they were doing it was because of money.
Right? But they had no idea that they were going to be, the tip of this new wave of film that basically science fiction, fantasy, things like Superman and Star Wars, that this was starting a new wave, in film. And and they would have
and
taken it seriously if they did.
Yeah,
and
even
something,
recent. Go ahead, Cranston.
oh yeah, okay, something else has happened in recent years, and they've tried to address it badly each time it came up. Is that there is a bias in Hollywood if your movie made too much money. So if your
Yeah,
money is more than the what you call it grand the gross income and stuff of a European country, they're going to think there's something wrong with that. It's like the equivalent of McDonald's getting a Michelin star. That just doesn't happen. And so
if it
one of the
appeals
ways
to
they
too many
Mhm.
people, if it appeals to too many people, how
Yeah.
good can it be?
And so
Yeah,
what they tried to do, at least at the Golden Globes, that they came up with the essentially what translates into we're not going to give this movie a serious award, but it made so damn much money and stuff. We're going to recognize them for that. So Greta Gerwig, who had been sort of an indie darling, that her movies were slowly inching up more mainstream, but they were still considered, you had good actors doing small movies that did good at you made back your production costs and the advertising, but, you're not making like Marvel movie money, So if you look at two movies that you've got, I think Lady Bird, and then you've got something from Marvel, you're going to automatically say that Marvel is just a cash grab to grab in young people and stuff like that, and not serious moviegoers. So I'm going to defend the courtesy of that. Then Barbie comes along, and all of a sudden, and everything, the same person that directed all of these smaller movies has now just made $1 billion. So what are you going to do with that? So they're essentially coming up with the award for the, I forgot what they call it, but essentially it comes down to you made more money than anybody else, so we're going to give you the award for that.
Yeah, the Academy tried to do it with Black Panther to give it
Yeah.
the most popular award and things
And
like,
they said,
or
well, no,
something.
that's not right.
Yeah.
It was a really good
No, it's
film, and it
not.
should have stood on its own, nominated
Mhm.
for an award because it was a really great film.
I mean, the pervasion of superhero movies of being fluff films is even to this day. Jamie Lee Curtis just apologized for bashing Marvel movies, and then I guess what's her name sat down with her. Michelle Yeoh sat down with her. Go, do you know how hard those movies are to make?
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
she just came out and apologized profusely. She goes, I did not realize everything that was involved in making of these films.
Mhm.
yeah. But it's like,
So
have you ever watched one? And I mean, they may not be, your favorite, but still. Now, I mean, I know that I didn't know whether you wanted to go through the list and try to go through it and see which of these films that they listed were, in your mind, worthy or not worthy. Cranston, how do you want to do it?
Yeah, we can go through the list real quick, and also look at what won that category for that year. And looking back at it in hindsight, do you say, okay, did they really do that much? Because I can remember when Star Trek Beyond came out, I think there were only three nominees in the makeup category. And so I thought they would have been a lock for it, because one of the little internal things they did was, because this was the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, and so they decided we're going to make up 50 new aliens for the movie. Although a lot of them were just somebody walking by in the background, and it wasn't like anything really did that thing. But I think the movie that won that year was Suicide Squad won, and I'm trying to think for
What
what.
year? Wait, when is this?
This was, I think, would have been 17 or 18 when it came out. And there are only three movies that were nominated. I can't even remember what the third one was, but I was like surprised that the makeup people didn't win for Star Trek.
Hmm. All right. Well, we have here.
because they've seen it before.
All right. Oh, yeah. Well, maybe. Well, we sit here at the Lego Batman movie, the animated feature, and this is one of the first things they said, that they thought, despite its brilliance, it failed to garner any Oscar recognition in the animated feature category.
Hmm.
Nonetheless, the film stands out for its memorable action sequences and Michael Cera's hilarious and heartfelt portrayal of Robin, the trusty sidekick. Well, okay, let's
I can't
put it
speak
away.
to it. I don't
Okay,
know.
I saw it. It was okay. It was nice. I don't know why they didn't put up for animated, but I think the Lego animation may not be to everyone's liking, maybe. And
Yeah.
I want to say this: just going here from 16 for the Lego Batman movie to 15, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and say that anything with Michael Cera in it should never get any awards.
That's mean. Why do you say that?
I do not like him. This actor, I do not
Yeah.
like him. So no, anything with him in it should not get an award.
And also, he tends to play characters that are unlikable.
Yes, absolutely.
But was he in Zombieland?
That's the wrong actor.
Well, that's the wrong guy.
Yes, wrong actor.
Never mind.
Okay. All right. And so here we are. At number 14, Mark Hamill, Batman, Mask of the Phantasm. Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely. I love that. And I want to tell you, a lot of people don't get, you say no, but at the very end of Mask of the Phantasm, when the Joker is laughing like that, that is so chilling to me. And he's laughing and laughing. Have y'all ever seen Mask of the Phantasm?
Yeah. Hmm.
The animated film. I don't know if you've seen it, Sonia, but it is really very good. It's one of my kids, one of their favorite films, Batman films, very adult.
I
Film.
like it, but I think that supporting actor is going a little bit far.
Yeah, I mean, for an animated thing,
Or just in a category called animated.
I mean, well,
Yeah,
let's see what this is, but
It was shot out of everything.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't think for everything.
but see, the
um,
problem is that again, animated movies, unless it's something from Disney, maybe you're not going to take it because you say, well, you're not really acting, you're just, reading lines,
well,
and
Yeah, but
well, we have
what?
something like The Lion King. Does that get a
Mhm.
But what
nomination?
actor? What actor? What voice actor? What voice actors that have ever been nominated for an Oscar?
Have there been any animated films nominated?
For voice acting? Just voice acting.
No, I don't think there has been many
No,
voice actors
But
nominated.
in the animated category.
There's no
No,
anim-
there
What do you
isn't.
mean?
There isn't an animated voice of best actor animated. It's just the film itself that wins.
Yeah.
yeah.
What I mean, one. I
And
don't know
also,
for
it runs into the thing about why the Lego movie didn't get nominated because animation is you had to draw something, not doing stop motion. So,
Okay. Well,
They
thank you
for
for bringing
Yeah,
that up.
they forgot about the Ray Harryhausen and stuff.
mhm,
Thank
They
you
they
for
forgot
bringing that
about
up.
their own history. Well, no,
yeah,
that's how Hollywood perceives it.
hmm
They forget about their history of all the different types of animation that's been
Mm,
before.
Right.
which is
yeah. But
unfortunate. There's a lot
but when
out
you
there
Right.
that's
but
interesting.
when you think animation, you're thinking about, well, they drew these pictures and stuff and they put it up, or
Or
they
they
CGI the pictures and stuff.
You think of
So,
cartoons.
Right.
I mean, King Kong is stop action animation.
Yeah, and the time
mhm,
it takes to do that. It's really an investment. So I think to downplay it, I don't think is appropriate, especially this day and age when we have so much to compete with now with AI and things of that ilk as writers and artists. I think that you should encourage people in all forms of the manual arts, manual
hmm
or craft.
Yeah, because I don't think computer generated will ever beat handcrafted
Oh,
animation.
Pixar's won several.
I mean, we don't mean beat with regard to an award. We're
Yeah.
saying that with regard to heart, with regard to artistry.
I mean, as
You
far
know.
as a film like Pinocchio,
Okay. Yeah.
the original Pinocchio.
Yeah.
I
but
think
what
the computer would be hard pressed to recreate that.
Mhm.
well,
But
that
now
one that
I think I'm trying to get to the list, and get to have Batman Begins is 13, and Blade is 12.
For
In my
what?
mind, I guess for Best Picture or
What about
award
Batman
Batman
Begins?
Begins for adapted screenplay.
for adapted screenplay,
yeah,
and Blade they say for film editing. I don't know film editing, but I thought Blade was an excellent film. That's a film I could watch over and over multiple times. I absolutely love it. So I think people don't like the horror genre that much, but boy, it was such a ride. I really loved it. I mean, I just think the entire scene with Pearl in and of itself, that definitely warranted
Yeah, I
some
just
sort of an
Yeah,
award.
that's part of the editing, keeping you in pace and keeping you engrossed and
Yeah, it was fantastic. All
taking
that.
you
yeah,
along for that rapid ride.
well,
I
there's a
think
line I always liked where they were talking about. I think I want to say it was Armageddon, which of course is a Michael Bay film, which is another something else that will probably never get a nod for Best Picture. And they describe the editing as if they had run the film through a Cuisinart and then put it back together. So if it's too much of something like too many cuts, if it's too much, the scenes don't go on enough or play out or whatever and stuff, they're not going to take it seriously either. And so that automatically gets eliminated.
Hmm.
well, I remember a story about Goyer pitching Blade, and he finally got it greenlit, and the executive who greenlit it said, "Well, if people want to watch this junk, go ahead and do it." But I think that's the opinion of a lot of people. Coming out the
hmm
gate, they're not going to watch it because they think it's junk.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have their own biases.
Yeah.
They don't really think about what it is that the community wants
No,
to
they don't. They
see,
don't
or
know.
the moviegoer wants to
And
see.
also I think Hollywood punishes actors who take a lot of movie money for their roles. It's like you should be the starving artist. So if you're the starving artist and you take a pay cut, or you know do something funny with the financing or whatever, because this movie has to really be made, then you're giving a leg up on your movie. If you Marlon Brando and Gene Hackman, they're not taking a pay cut, and if you didn't pay them, they probably wouldn't do Superman 2. And it's not because it's not like a movie to them, and to most of their um, colleagues, a movie that has to be made.
Hmm. Yeah, I
But that's
think
what
that.
they did in Superman too, because Brando was only covered for the first movie, so that's why all of a sudden Superman's mother is giving him advice because she was a lot cheaper than Brando was.
Wow.
Yeah, because he took a bag of money. He
Yeah.
took a bag of money for the first film.
And the thing was that Brando in his later career was not known for even learning his lines. He'd either read it off cue cards, or they would put a transmitter in his ear, and somebody off screen would tell him what the next line was, and then he would just go and work from there. And if you know
Wow.
that's how he did that, then you're going to say, well, he didn't. That's not acting. That's just repeating something you heard off screen somewhere. So.
Yeah, but I mean, just because he's repeating it doesn't mean he's repeating exactly the way it was said to him. I mean,
Mhm.
adding his own flair to it,
Yeah.
which begs the question as to whether or not you know these things that they do could be violations of 80 um, American Disabilities Act. What if somebody has difficulty reading and they need the lines read to them and they can repeat them back in a way that is meaningful? You know?
But I think the idea that Hollywood punishes actors who make a lot of money. You think of Liz Taylor when she was making Cleopatra, or Brad Pitt and those people, making a big bag of money. Have they ever been nominated? Taking a big chunk of money, being paid. I mean, being capital P paid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think there's that whole club where every time you go to work, it's $20 million to show up. So Brad Pitt did win supporting actor for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a recent thing.
Yeah, but
But every now and then
but
he
it got
does
that.
do supporting roles.
Well, he got that Tarantino stamp on it.
Yeah.
So everything Tarantino does, although it may be big budget, is considered, cutting edge or
Mm-hmm.
independent or something.
Well, it also depends on where you get your money. When again,
Mm-hmm.
another thing about where billing comes in, when they did the first Tim Burton Batman movie. Of course, Tim Burton got billing over Michael Keaton, even though the movie is named after the character that Michael Keaton plays. And I think in order to help get it made, that Nicholson took considered a pay cut for him, but he got, I think, 5% of the box office afterward. So he
Wow.
only got paid $5 or $6 million for doing the principal movie, but he made over $100 million in participation afterward. So you can't tell when they got the money to determine whether or not they really deserved it. And all you can do is say, I knew I should have turned that down. They had offered
Yeah.
Sean Connery the part of Dumbledore in the first Harry Potter movie, but he didn't want it. He didn't want to do a kiddies movie or something like that. So it went to Richard Harris. And afterwards he said, I should have took that paycheck. And that's what led him to do the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which sucked on all levels and made him retire from acting after doing it. He said, "Yeah, that's okay. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to do this anymore." So,
Yep. That's enough for me.
yeah.
I picked I backed the wrong horse. I didn't get a bag of money. This isn't right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not bad.
Get the bag. Right now, there's tariffs say here, Avengers of Infinity War for original score. Now I got to tell you, I didn't find anything particularly original regarding that
used that music
score.
before.
They always it's just like a rehash of music they used before. kind of
Mm.
appended end to end. I don't think no, just no.
Who did the score? It was Alan
I was,
Silvestri. Yeah.
And he's
yeah,
kind of
I didn't think
Hollywood
this was
royalty.
great.
He's done a lot of stuff that's
Hmm.
gotten a lot of a lot of note and everything. But
Hmm. Yeah, but I
it's,
look at this thing here that the one that that's like moving forward to Wonder Woman number 10, and they were saying costume design, but I think Wonder Woman, the first one, should have gotten. I don't know. It may not have won, but I would like to see it get a nomination for Best Picture. I
mm,
really
For
liked
best
it.
picture or costume design?
Best Picture. I liked Wonder
Why?
Woman. I really liked it.
Hmm.
I thought that it was very cool. I mean, parts of Wonder Woman, I was just like, wow, wow. I mean, the battle scene on the beach with
mhm.
the Amazons, I thought was fantastic. I really liked it. But again, there are parts that I didn't like, so that's true too. So I don't know. I really liked some parts, other parts not so much. That battle scene was great,
Yeah,
great.
and also there are things, certain things that you know they're going to automatically say that because even the people in some of these movies will complain or mention that they spend most of their time talking to tennis balls on sticks or something like that, or it's
Mm.
all
Well,
green screen or something like
but you
that.
know what? You think it's how it must be very difficult to try to emote against a tennis ball on a stick.
Yeah,
Basically, it's all
Hmm.
you. You're doing all the work. I think that's something.
but
I
the
think it's
idea is they said if half the characters are animated or the locations didn't require didn't have teamsters building real sets and everything, then
Well,
it's not really a real movie and stuff, that you have to
well.
have a
For
real
instance,
environment.
Jason and the Argonauts.
mm-hmm,
If it was made today,
mm-hmm.
would it be nominated as a best anything?
Nope.
Pro- Probably for visual effects, and that's about it.
And so to me, that movie should be nominated for several things.
Hmm.
Yeah,
One is the score by Bernard Herrmann.
Yep.
You know, the special effects,
yeah.
and maybe an adapted screenplay or something. It's not a great movie. It's not not Citizen Kane or anything, but it's a very enjoyable movie.
Yeah, well, that's why they wanted to come up with the Barbie Award that said, yeah, this movie people enjoyed it and it made a crap load of money, so we
Yeah.
think we give special recognition for that. No artistic merit, just for all the stuff that we wish my movie had done that and stuff instead of theirs.
Well,
For keeping
well,
the box office alive.
Yeah,
something a movie like Jason and the Argonauts.
Mm-hmm.
It does have artistic
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
vision.
We know what
So
goes into it, but that's not how they want to be remembered. It's
hmm
how Hollywood wants to be remembered 100 years from now. They would rather be recognized for giving the award to Driving Miss Daisy as opposed to Do the Right Thing or all of that stuff because it makes them look good in history.
or
right.
something more recent is, and it had people puzzled even then, was when Green Book won Best Picture.
Hmm.
And everybody was saying, "What?" Because
Yeah.
this kind of thing.
Well, explain the reason why that movie won Best Picture.
The
Because
movie won.
it makes Hollywood look good. It's how
Yeah,
Hollywood wants to be perceived. It wants to be perceived as being an equal opportunity and helping out the desperate and et cetera, as opposed to pure artistic merit.
and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want
also
to be
it
seen
was
by
the
each
white
other.
savior movie, and where
Yeah.
the thing is, it was the journey of the kind of bigoted, but he really has a good heart until he's exposed to it. White guy comes along and stuff, and then that's when they become. It's a buddy picture, is what it turned out to be, and that was why they said, it was good. It's one of those things that shows, see, we're good stuff. We don't just go to big parties and stuff and do this kinds of stuff. We are conscious of those who are less fortunate than us and everything.
Right,
And we,
right. But
we change and we progress. And see, we're not
Yeah,
all racist.
yeah,
yeah, but I mean, again, like the white savior,
yeah.
Hmm.
film.
Yeah, so that black professor who is well thought of in his community is equal to some white guy, Italian guy from Staten Island
Who's a
wearing a
chauffeur?
wife beater
Yeah,
shirt. That's equal in their eye.
and
No,
Well,
that
it shows
it
that he
shows
has
that
supposedly,
growth.
he grew and
Yeah,
he matured is what
yeah,
they're
but
looking at.
but the issue to me is that at the end, supposedly he goes to the guy's home. They'll allow him into their home for dinner or whatever. It's kind of
Because
like,
he's civilized.
yeah, well, we'll let you come to our house, like, it's a step up for you to be able to come to
Mhm.
our house for dinner. It's like, are you kidding me?
Only a certain kind of
Are you
black person.
yeah.
kidding
Yeah.
me? You know?
Well, it's the
And
equivalent of all the stories they've heard. Like they said that Sinatra wouldn't stay at whatever hotel it was in Vegas because they wouldn't let Sammy Davis Jr. stay there. So he was going to break his engagement and leave and everything. Where you stood up and you did the right thing, and you get patted on the back for that. Now, whether or
Right.
not this stuff is really real or even happen that way, because this is one of the few cases that everybody connected with the real people in this movie said it was grossly represented that the
Mhm.
Mahershala Ali's character was not estranged from his family. And then you
No,
have the scene where you have the white Italian guy from New York teaching the black guy who grew up in the South how to eat fried chicken.
it's like, like one of my favorite lines ever in Saturday Night Live when who's it? Keenan
Mhm.
was saying, "Oh yeah, in that movie, with that Green Book, with the ended with that the white man tried to show the black man how to eat chicken." And he said that wasn't in the movie. He said, it was for me.
And his family pointing out that he was an accomplished cook
Yeah.
and things
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. They completely ignored all the family going, but
He
that
wasn't.
never happened. But that never happened.
And he
Yeah.
wasn't estranged from his
His family
family
nor
or,
his
No.
or
community.
his community.
I mean, I think that's the thing, this concept, because he is smart, he is accomplished, then he could not possibly be a member of that community, accepted member of that community. And even the concept of the Green Book itself, that, these places that they had to stay
Yeah, they're all
at were these,
shabby and stuff.
yeah, were just exactly the opposite
Right.
of what the Green Book would have been. And in fact, I think it would have been a better film if they thought about the fact of this guy traveling with him, thinking that that's what this Green Book was,
Right.
and
Hmm.
instead going from these place to place, find out, no, these are lovely
Well,
homes
understand the guy.
and nice people, and you are the fish out of
I
water.
understand the guy
You
they
know?
got. The guy they got instead of from New York, but he's special. He's from Staten Island,
Mm-hmm.
which is a different part of New York. It's a part of New York that all of New York City voted for Biden in the last election, except from one borough, Staten Island.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go.
So that's Staten Island is different, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know who they're talking to, but it's a high sign that this guy's from Staten Island.
Well, that's because you can identify with each one of the. You can identify with. Yeah, I was the one that voted for him and stuff. Because see, this is the change that I've made. I have grown. So it's like they're showing that his growth is more important than this guy's life.
Right. So it's a magical Negro movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, if you think about it, that if they'd done it right, my Green Book would have been that guy from Staten Island having to drive this man across the South, and then thinking that, oh my gosh, we got to go to these horrible, terrible places, but to learn his humanity, the fact that nope, these are just people living places. I would have had this guy, since he's an accomplished, pianist, like to go to someone's home, and because he's playing all these really accomplished things, to go to someone's church and one thing and just play, play gospel music, as he's going through, and this individual being, exposed through the Green Book to the way that Black people really live, not the way that you thought they did.
Yeah, because Staten Island is the north version of the South.
Right.
It's
He
not
would
where
have very
it's not where any black people live.
yeah,
right?
he would have
So,
been very at home, probably in the South. But I think that if you'd done the film and done it right, it could have been a much better film showing, somebody claiming humanity who believed a certain thing, a certain way about people, and learned different from somebody that they're traveling with, who they maybe did not have a lot of respect for because it's, this black
Mhm.
man who he thinks is kind of uppity, but to learn that this is the way people have had to live. People who are honorable, intelligent, uh, kind, uh, or funny, but they live in a world that, at a blink of an eye, they could be killed because of the color of their skin,
right.
Mhm.
and it could have been a much better film.
And I think
Really.
Professor Shirley, if he goes to New York, he's not going to Staten Island.
I mean, he would go to wherever it was, like, in Manhattan or whatever. Maybe somebody
He's
hires somebody.
He's going to the Hilton, or he's going to be at the
Yeah,
Waldorf,
yeah. That somebody
or
hires,
the Plaza Hotel. He's not going to Staten Island.
and then somebody. I think the person who hires him, they hire that person from there, but he's not going
He's
there.
not going there.
You
But
know?
anyway, you're talking the superhero.
Okay, yeah, we get back to our superhero.
Which one are
films.
you at now?
And we're at Deadpool, and they were saying makeup and hairstyling for Deadpool. And I think that I don't know. I think makeup maybe
I don't
for
know.
Ryan Reynolds, in his
He was in a
role as
mask.
Deadpool.
He was in a mask.
When we took his mask off, maybe we wore makeup for Ryan Reynolds, when he took his makeup off, and then some of their strange little visual, maybe, but I don't know if I don't know. I saw it; it was
Yeah.
funny, but I don't think it was worthy of an award.
No, I don't think so, because the other thing you have to go with is the fact that you got Ryan Reynolds, so you're going to make him look bad, but you're not going to make him look that bad and everything. So
Yeah, yeah. So
and
yeah, it was
also
pretty.
that's
I liked it. It was a funny film. I liked it, but I don't think it was an award-winning film. And right here, next after the X-Men visual effects, and if this is the X-Men, the first one, no, I don't think so. I thought X-Men First Class actually was a better film for that.
That's good.
That was much better film. For costuming, for set design. It's a much better film if you want to get an X-Men film and say that they got snubbed for awards. Would definitely be X-Men First Class.
mhm.
And I mean the story even of Eric Lenscher and what happened, how they made him into Magneto. It was a really great dramatic piece. And I mean, my son and I, were saying, I could take 2 full hours of Eric Lenscher in Argentina. You make that film.
Mhm.
He goes through Argentina finding all the Nazis. That would be a film that I would pay to watch. So
Mhm.
that was great. I enjoyed X-Men First Class, but I think X-Men. I think I know a lot of people because it was the first X-Men film, and you have a lot of I don't know what do we say, nostalgia associated with, especially those of us who read all the X-Men comic books. But I don't think that it was as good, the visual effects, except the visual effect for Nightcrawler.
Mhm.
That was, I'd never seen anything like that before. I thought that was really a brilliant piece of work. So that
For
thing,
yeah, for its year, it was pretty. It was different, and they,
yes, she
Hollywood
was.
hadn't been able to recreate that until X-Men First Class.
Mhm.
That was great. And so under 7, they have the Captain America Civil War visual effects. And I think, I like Captain America Civil War a lot, but
Mhm.
I don't know what about the visual effects was so much more than anything else. I mean, I know you have the Ant-Man, giant Ant-Man things.
Yeah, it was a combination. It was how they blend, because it was a lot of practical and green screen and then some
Mhm.
special effects. It was probably the best Marvel has done with the combination of the two.
Mhm.
Where you couldn't go, oh look, that was done by special effects, or oh look, that was a green screen or stuff. It was a nice blending of the two, and we hadn't seen it blended that well up to that
Mhm.
point.
Yeah. And on this one, they were talking about the fact that the Academy favored the visuals of another MCU film, Doctor Strange, over the innovative work of the Russo brothers. And I'm going to tell you, I think I know what it was about Doctor Strange, but it was something used in Doctor Strange, but I think it was used also. What is it in another film that came out before it? I don't. It was Inception. It was something else where they have the kind of Escher type movement going on
Mhm.
in the
Hmm.
film, and I think that really captivated them. That this very Escher type movement, I think they did a very good job in Doctor Strange of the visuals, and I think that's why the Academy favored it. I thought those visuals were quite excellent, and I don't think it was a mistake to give them their props with that. I thought it was very well done. I think the issue was that it was done in Doctor Strange before or after something else. I can't remember what it was, but I remember thinking whatever it was that came after, that it would not get that it would get short shrift because it had been used in the other film. And unfortunately, I can't remember what that was, but I know Doctor Strange was one of them. Um, and I'm thinking of it. It wasn't. Maybe it was. I don't know. I don't know. And if y'all could think of it, just jump on in. Um, the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse for Best Picture. I liked Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I just don't think that it was Best Picture material, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, what
They
do you
should have
all
at least they should have at least nominated it.
Well,
I
it
don't.
did
I
win for
think,
think?
yeah, one for best animated.
yeah.
I think they should have nominated it for. It was definitely a better picture than Green Book. Um, that won
I mean,
that
but even
year.
though it was a better picture than Green Book, I still don't think it was Best Picture. Um, but maybe the issue is not whether it's Best Picture, but whether it should have gotten the nomination for Best
Right.
Picture.
Well,
I
I
don't know.
think the idea that it did win for animated picture was the same thing. They said, okay, so it's still the best picture, even though it was just animated and it was more traditional animation. So,
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I did like Into the Spider Verse. I thought it was very well done, very enjoyable. Yeah, very good. I liked it, enjoyed it. But I don't know Best Picture. I have to look at it again and see. Now, the next thing I have is the RoboCop makeup for RoboCop, and guys,
Who's makeup?
I'm trying to think.
RoboCop's makeup?
I
No,
guess.
yeah.
for all the other assorted characters.
What is so?
There was a whole lot of other assorted characters, and it was,
In RoboCop?
yeah.
Like who?
I'm trying to remember. There was somebody else because it
Well, it
wasn't.
was
Like
the
it?
thing when
I
they started.
don't. I'm
When they
just gonna say
started.
I saw RoboCop, and I know the RoboCop character. Okay, yes, you take off his RoboCop, visor, and he is, but it's still, Peter Weller under there,
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
great.
And then they have like these few of these little monstery looking things, but
Mhm.
they didn't. They weren't as prominent in the film, such that I think that it's worth that. I don't know. I think I don't have to see it again, but I don't see it.
No, I
I
think
don't see it.
only makeup I saw was RoboCop.
Yeah. Now in this thing they have Michael B. Jordan from Black Panther #4 as Best Supporting Actor, and I say I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Really?
Really?
Mm,
I don't. I can see that.
mm.
Because he made you realize that he was right, just going. Killmonger was right, just going at it the wrong way.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't know
I mean,
that.
It was.
As Michael B. Jordan is an actor,
No, I
I
mean
just
if you
don't think
take
he's
him,
that great.
if you take him out of the film, that's to me. That's
No, if you take the role out of the
no.
film.
If you take You
I
think?
don't. I think that many other actors could have played that role. I don't think Michael B.
I'm not.
Jordan.
I don't know.
I thought he was good,
I
but
thought he
he
was very
wasn't
good. I thought he
great.
did a very good job.
I think he was good. He was not great. So I think I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I
Well,
think if you think back and you say this, let's say this.
Mm-hmm.
Was he a villain that was up to the task? And that's the role itself. The written that villain role is quite excellent. I think it was a great role. I think he did a good job in the role. I'm trying to think. Did I think he did a great job in the role?
Now this is just
I
being nominated, not necessarily winning.
Winning. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're right. You're right. The issue of nomination. If anybody else was nominated Best Supporting Actor, an actor in a supporting role that year, he should have been one of them.
right.
Even if he didn't win, you're right. He should have been nominated as one of them. So yeah, I agree. He should have been a nom. He should have received a nomination. So yeah. All right, and then they have here The Incredibles, number 3 as Best Picture, and I think I don't know. No,
no, it
No.
shouldn't. It wasn't Best
No.
Picture. No, definitely not.
no,
It was
definitely not.
very good picture, but I don't think it was should have been Best Picture. No.
Yeah, in fact, the dad, what was his name, Incredible. I thought he was a jerk.
Yeah.
You know, I thought no. I mean, just no. I mean, they were not the type of people, a family group that was endearing to me. You know, I didn't care, at the end what happened to them one way or the other. So they didn't do, if that was what they wanted, then they missed me.
No, I think they wanted to show that superheroes can be nasty, mean. They're everyday people,
But
and
they're
we
not
come in
supposed
all
to be.
different.
They're not supposed to be. That's the point.
You
You
know,
know?
that they contrary to popular belief, superheroes are normal people. They have this. They do have the same gripes. They have the same biases. They have.
No. He was an asshole. It's not about being.
Well, regular people assholes.
He
Yeah, but
was.
he wasn't
He
a
was a
superhero.
He was.
In
He was
fact, in fact, he created the supervillain because of his asinine behavior. So no.
Well, that's
Mm,
what happened in most Batman films. Batman created his villains,
How did he create the villain in
Well,
Batman?
his
Batman?
vigilante. Yeah.
Yes. How did he
You
create?
mean what? The Penguin or the Joker?
He didn't create any of them.
The Joker, he kind of, had a hand.
Yeah.
I had no. I made you. You made me. Remember the line?
Yeah.
mhm.
He said no because you were the son of a bitch who killed my parents. Oh yeah.
And
What
you-
about
and you-
that? So
You were the person that helped drop me in the vat.
he didn't drop it in the vat of acid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was there when I fell. So yeah.
He fell.
Yeah.
He's not responsible for him falling in a vat of acid.
He had a hand in it.
He had no hand in it. No. Because that's why he's a jerk. Because he can't take responsibility for the fact that he's a criminal who fell in a vat of acid, who murdered someone's parents. So no.
But other than that,
you are a villain. You're not a hero.
I got to watch it again. But, I
But
think
you're
he
not
had-
a villain. He's not a. He just let him fall. He didn't try to save him. Is what.
that was the other thing they mentioned about
No,
even in the Christopher
Batman is
Nolan
not just let
movies.
somebody fall in a vat of acid. That's not a Batman thing to do.
It was a Tim Burton's Batman thing to do. Was it the?
yeah.
I'll see it again. I think y'all are incorrect.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson.
But I think y'all are incorrect about that scene. But no, I don't think that. No, I think The Incredibles is, to me, it is a type of film that a certain demographic thinks that this is the way that they can be, and they should still be lauded. That's what it's about, and I don't like it. And no.
Well,
Absolutely.
I do think it is a thing where it shows that it would say that the bad guy might have felt that he was justified in being a bad guy, but you were still on the incredible side that well, he shouldn't have done that, even if he did even if we did give him the short shelf.
Every villain does not.
I'm sorry, I don't have that kind of mindset.
Most villains do not see themselves as a villain.
you screw someone over and you create this villain, you're responsible. He did it, he was responsible. And no matter what, I mean, it's just like somebody who, realizes a child and then they grow up to become someone awful. And so, oh my God, how did that happen? No, you take responsibility for what you did.
Hmm.
This is your mess up, and you're responsible for it. And you shouldn't get to say, well, just because I'm a strong superhero guy, that I'm not responsible for what I did to that other human being. So no, The Incredibles is no. I love the second Incredibles film, the artwork and stuff. I thought was incredible and beautiful. But no, God commits me on the
All that
Incredibles.
computer animation.
Still loved
Beautiful.
all of that 1950s retro
Hmm.
design of it. I thought was absolutely inspired and very beautiful. But that's about it. But I do think the design, the second film was just absolutely beautiful. Get down to Michelle Pfeiffer, Batman Returns, Best Supporting Actress. She not only should have been nominated, she should have won. I thought she was magnificent in that role. Magnificent.
No complaints on that statement.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And the Dark Knight, they have number one as Best Picture. I like Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And I think it may have been worthy of a nomination. I don't know whether it would have won, but I think it would have been worthy of a nomination. It was very, I think the only person who kind of messed up a little bit in the role was Aaron Eckhart.
He was horrible.
He was really bad. I mean, especially, it's just like, I don't know what he thought he was
He
doing.
didn't take it seriously.
Yeah, I agree. He didn't take it seriously, or he was, I don't know, miffed about not being chosen to be Batman or the Joker. I don't know. But he really did not do a good job in that role. I mean, I was surprised because I like him as an actor. I was just very surprised that it seemed like he mailed in that performance.
Well, that's why you don't see him again.
Yeah. I mean, he
He
really,
had a Batman film.
yeah, he just really seemed to mail in that performance. And again, like you said, that he played a recurring character
Mm-hmm.
that he never got an opportunity to
never
come
saw
back
him
and do again.
Never saw him again.
Yeah, because I think he really did not take it seriously, and his performance was out of sync with everyone else's performance in the film.
Well, now, do you think it might be because that's the way they designed the character that he was supposed to be? Like you said, you either live long enough to be the hero or to be the villain. That he was supposed to be this shining star, even though he, was just ambition and everything that went along with it. And so they had to build the character up so much to be this person that you would really miss when he finally goes off the deep edge. That it's kind of a disappointment when you realize, because that's where he's going, and that's why his character doesn't live up to the hype his character was supposed to be.
Oh no, I'm not talking about the character. I thought the
Hmm.
character was well written. I'm talking about Aaron Eckhart's acting in the role
Oh,
was
okay.
out of sync with everyone else. It's like he was playing it more. I can't even describe it. It's not even cartoony.
More
I don't know
campy.
what to say. Yeah,
More
He didn't-
more 1960s Batman than Dark Knight Batman.
I just think maybe he had that in the back of his mind, trying to play it dark, but it didn't work. It was
Hmm.
very weird because it was just so out of sync. I mean, Heath Ledger really kind of nailed it. I mean, he was so good in that role.
And Eckert, when he was on the ground, and
Oh yeah, rubbing his face all into the burning oil. I thought, well, what are you doing? I thought it was just, what are you doing? And maybe that's a director's problem to say cut. No, we are not. That will not
it
go to
looks so
print.
stupid.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And then the makeup they did for him also was very poor. they didn't think that out very
No,
well.
Two-Face is hard.
Yeah, Two-Face is hard. It's a hard role, but I
You gotta
mean,
take it seriously.
yeah, but that's why. And you know what? Every film they've only been able to do Two-Face on the animated series,
Right.
because
never taking it seriously.
any other film they could not do. Even
Right.
Tommy Lee Jones in the
It was
role was not
horrible.
taken seriously. It was horrible.
Well, it was a horrible film.
Yeah, horrible film, and he was not good in that role at all. I think they didn't know what to do with that role.
Maybe should have got Billy D. Williams.
Well, Billy D. Williams never got to play Two-Face. He only got to play Harvey. And gosh, I wonder what would happen if he ever did actually, play Two-Face. It would have been very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, if they had let Tim Burton go on past those two movies, he was supposed to come back as Two-Face, but
Handsome Harvey. That would have been a thing, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, with this list, I mean, I think they put in, the problem is, I think, with this superhero list, that whoever did it, I think they kind of put down some of they listed some of these films, but I don't think that even they were very serious about this list, because I think that a much better list, could have been put together regarding these particular types of films. There were, like they do mention my favorite, Blade is here, Black Panther is here, but I think they kind of name films they think everyone would know, as opposed to films that I think really would have been worthy of an award if you really thought about them. And I think, for instance, they list, Batman Returns, and I think that film was so good. That's one that I think should actually have gotten a nomination for this.
Mm-hmm.
I think what a great, fun, sexy film that was. Great job, everybody in it.
Mm-hmm.
Danny DeVito, Michelle Pfeiffer, Michael Keaton. I mean, they wore this thing out. And I think people should have. I mean, Christopher Walken as Shrek.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fantastic film. I mean, of course, you have to view the film through the lens for which, it was made. It is a comic book film, dark, I mean, just beautifully done. I think that certainly should have actually been nominated for Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very grown-up version of a comic book film, just no different than kind of like Blade. Very dark, very adult. I thought it was very good.
But once again, it's considered junk. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah,
But it was a great film, a great film. And I think that there are several that they're looking at these little things like supporting actors, but no, I mean, that was a fantastic cast. Wonderful
But Danny
cast.
DeVito.
That's what I'm saying. Danny
I mean,
DeVito, all
yeah.
of them. It's a fantastic cast,
Mm-hmm.
and all of them working. I mean, even at the very beginning of the film, with what's his name, Pee Wee Herman is
Mm-hmm.
the Joker. It's the Penguin's father. He and his wife. That
Cobblepots.
the Cobblepots. How fantastic that was. I mean, the entire set design, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
All of it, and it should have been nominated for that. Very well done.
I thank God no Vicky Vale.
Yeah,
Except for the mention of
I mentioned it.
you were the one that let Vicky Vale in the backhand. Right?
Yeah, that was funny. Because the man let Vicky Vale into the back cave.
Alfred.
That was good. And I think great balance of characters and interaction between characters. I thought the character Selena Kyle, then becoming the Catwoman, this just put upon individual
secretary. How many women can
identify with that?
With that role of being seen but not
Yes.
heard but not unheard.
Yeah.
In a meeting like that. I've seen meetings like that. Where women are treated that way.
Yeah, and she is
so demeaning. It's demeaning to be in those kind of meetings. But yeah, she was
What a great. And then when the thing happens to her, and I mean, her boss, whom she thinks is going to make overture to her, as she listening to the commercial, later on about the perfume and stuff. Instead, he takes them, pushes her out the window,
2 hands.
pushes her out to kill her. I thought it was great. She survives this.
Who told you to speak and who told you to go through my files?
Yes. Just very frightening, very frightening. And and he goes, ha 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 ha, and bam, there you go. It was just great. So yeah, I could go on forever. But we're looking at our time, and we are at the end. And boy, was it fun to talk about comic book films, superhero films. I am really glad that you brought up the topic, Cranston. It was nice to do something light. Really appreciate it. Yeah. So, what was it that you were talking about, Otto?
What's that?
For next week.
Films that are top 10 films.
The films that are top 10 films.
Perfect films.
The perfect film.
Does it exist?
And what would make your top 10 perfect film? You could choose any genre, multiple genres, a top 10 film for different genres. But the film that you think is the perfect film in the genre selected. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
All right, y'all. So we see you all next week back here in the neighborhood, in the other hood. And have a wonderful remainder of your weekend and a very productive week. Take care. See you in a week. Good night.
Good night.